Guys, today we're going to be doing a video about how I found out I was pregnant at the age of 18 while I was still in high school. So if you guys are interested in that, go ahead and keep watching and we will jump right in. Okay, so it was my senior year and I just moved out of my mom's house, and I actually moved in with my boyfriend and one of my friends, and we were living together for probably about a month. And as soon as we moved out of the place that we were living at, me and him, we went to Walmart with one of my best friends. And I was on birth control at this time, okay? So we go to Walmart and she's like, "Hey Madison, why don't you get a pregnancy test and take it?" And I was like, "Why? Like, I'm on birth control. Why do I need a pregnancy test? Does that even make sense?" And she's like, "Just take it, just make sure." And I was like, "Okay, I'll take it and make sure, whatever." So I get the pregnancy test. I go home, me and him go home. We're living in like a duplex at this point, like just me and him. And I go home and I take this pregnancy test. And I remember him standing right behind me, and I took the pregnancy test and I set it down on this counter that I had all my makeup on in the bathroom. And I remember it said positive, and I remember I turned around and I was like, "Babe, like, look at this, like, do you see this?" And he was like, "What does that mean?" And I was like, "That means like positive, like I'm pregnant." And he was like, "Are you sure you're reading that right?" And I was like, "Yes, I'm sure I'm reading it right." So we both go back out to the living room, and I think we sat there in like silence for like a good like 25 minutes. And then finally I was like, "We need to call my friend, like, that we just got back from Walmart with." I was like, "We need to call her right now and like tell her what's going on." So I called her and she came and got us, and we went to Walmart and spent $20 more on pregnancy tests. And I remember just sitting in the bathroom taking these tests when she'd sit out the door, and I would take a test and fling it back to her, and she'd fling me another one, and I'd fling it back and take it, and just so on and so forth. And every single one was positive. So the next morning I call and make a doctor's appointment to like confirm that I'm pregnant. Like, we did this stuff quick because like I was freaking out. Like, I'm like, "Oh my god, I'm 18 years old. Like, I'm still in high school. My mom's gonna kill me. Like, this is not good." So we make the doctor's appointment, and we get there, and the girl walks in, and she said, "I'm here just to confirm what you already know. You are pregnant." And I was like, "Thanks." So we leave. We go back to her house, and we were just sitting there for a really long time, and she's like, "Are you gonna tell your mom?" And I was like, "No." She's like, "What do you mean no?" And I'm like, "I'm not telling her. Like, she don't need to know. It's not a big deal." And she's like, "Madison, it is a big deal. Like, you're pregnant." And I was like, "It's okay. I'll tell her later on. It's not a big deal." So, mind you, I'm still in high school at this point, right? The whole time I am pregnant, nobody, not a single person in that school besides my boyfriend knew that I was pregnant. Nobody. Like, not a teacher, not a friend, no one. Like, at all. I don't know. I just never told anybody. Like, you know how, like, you have a best friend and you're like, "Oh, I can trust her with anything. I can tell her this." No. I did not care. I was not telling nobody anything. Like, nobody knew. And then we graduated, and I think after I found out the gender is when I decided to post it on Facebook and say, like, "I am pregnant." And everybody was like, "Oh, we had no idea, blah, blah, blah." And I'm like, that's because I didn't want you to know in high school. Because when you're in high school and you're pregnant, like, everybody talks about you. You know what I mean? And I don't think I was so worried about that because I've always been that type of person where I don't care what anybody has to say about me. Like, I don't care. I've never really been, like, all that liked, you know? Like, I've had, like, my own group of friends, and that's it. And we were never part of, like, the popular people group, so I've never really cared. So I wasn't so worried about what people would say about me, just so much of the fact that it was nobody else's business but my own and my boyfriend's. So, right after I found out that I was pregnant is when I finally posted it, and everybody was like, "Oh my gosh, I had no idea." And I'm like, I didn't want you to know. That's the point. Like, I did not want you to know. So that's why you didn't know. Oh, if you hear any noises, that's because my daughter's actually sleeping, like, right here beside me. She's probably about to wake up soon, actually. But, yeah. So I was probably, like, pregnant for 2 or 3 months while I was still in high school, and nobody knew about it. So my best advice to you is, if you do get pregnant in high school and you don't want anybody to know about it, don't tell nobody. Like, that's the simplest thing that I can say is literally don't tell anyone about it, because if I would have just told one friend, the whole school would have known. Do you know what I mean? Like, I had really, really close friends in my class. Like, I was in cosmetology, and it was like a class of like 6 girls. So you're with these girls 5 hours out of the 8 hours that you're in school. So yeah, I became really, really close with actually 2 of them. And I remember I told them everything besides that. And I remember after high school, and they found out, they're like, I can't believe you didn't tell me, like, I told you everything. And I'm like, this was different. Like, this was like my whole, like, this was like my life at that time, and I did not want anybody to know. Because, yeah, you can trust that person for right now, but wait until you do something to make them mad and they tell somebody else. Or there's that thing where they're like, hey, she told me this and told me not to tell nobody, so don't tell nobody that I told you this. And then the whole fucking school knows all of a sudden, and you're like, okay. So just keep that in mind if you are pregnant in high school. If you don't want anybody to know, that's all up to you. Nobody has to know. You have complete control over who knows and who doesn't know. So just keep that in mind. But, yep, that's how I found out that I was pregnant in high school, and that's how it went down. But I gotta go because I actually have a baby that is crying now. So thank you guys so much for watching, and comment down below your guys' stories on if you guys got pregnant in high school, or if this helped at all, or if you guys need any advice or anything like that. I'd be happy to help. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys in my next video.